What is going on, water signs? This is your girl Venus Archangel here with another love reading for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're unsure of your placements, go ahead and check the description box below. Also guys, please remember that these readings may not resonate with everybody, and that is totally fine. Alright you guys, let's go ahead and see what's happening in your love lives today. Wow. Also, this is for September 29th through the 23rd. This is for the weekend. This is a weekend reading. So I say today, but it's really for the weekend. For the whole weekend. For the whole weekend. Alright, y'all. Let's see what's popping in that life of yours. Okay. Well, a lot, apparently. You have the Hierophant, excuse me, and then you have the Wheel of Fortune coming up here. Then you have the Three of Swords that I saw earlier as I was shuffling. I guess this has something to do with some old issues coming up as well. Perhaps regarding a past commitment here, a commitment within someone, or this is a commitment altogether. I feel like this is an opportunity to establish a relationship, but the Three of Swords was going to be one of the difficult portions, is facing those triggers, whatever this is, whatever those triggers are. All right, let's see what's going on. Oh, wow. Underlying energy, Two of Wands. Underneath that is the Hermit. Self-discovery is very good. It's very good. I like it because, I mean, the Hermit is the card for Virgo. I'm not a Virgo, I'm a Libra, but the situation is showing that there was a lot of Virgoan energy. We left the sign of Libra, or of Virgo rather. We entered the sign of Libra recently, so it makes sense. There was a time of reflection, self-discovery, and recognizing oneself, and seeing the stuff as, you know, as ourselves, pretty much. I know it's kind of weird how I just phrased that, but the truth of the matter is that we were looking within ourselves. We're finding details and getting understanding from our standpoints and through the things that we've been through. And the Hermit in itself is very healing energy in itself. But why? Because this is looking at all the pains, all the things that we've gone through, and understanding and utilizing what we've learned along the way to heal ourselves in that moment, right? Because everything, it doesn't have to be fine and dandy, but everything doesn't have to be glum and doom and gloom either, right? And that's what the thing is. It's like, we don't want a doom and gloom situation all the time, but we don't necessarily need a happy all the time, a happy situation all the time either. Because with darkness, it brings out our light, and our light really shows our darkness, or it can bring out the darkness. It can be very yin and yang situation there. Now, the current situation that we got going on here, your underlying energy, is the Two of Wands. There was, yes, time of reflection here with the Hermit, but now we move on to making a decision about figuring out which path we're willing to take, or what we're wanting to take. This is about passions, right? This is about, what really enthuses us, what actually gets us excited. What's our, what is our drive? What is our niche? But this is also just kind of figuring out which direction we're going to go in regards to pursuing the things that we want to pursue, whether this is a relationship or what have you. Now, the Hangman is talking about manifestation, but it's also about having the tools available to manifest what it is that you want, to have what you want, to create what you want, to go after what it is that you want. You're more ready than ever. Two of Wands is showing that. There's really nothing keeping you from doing the things that you want to do. But the Hermit, the Hangman, why am I saying Hangman so much? Like, if you guys, now that makes me worried, because if the Hangman is coming up so much, I'm saying it without really trying to. For some of you guys, you may be feeling stuck in limbo. You may be feeling stuck in a situation where you have to surrender to a certain perspective, or you may feel like you're kind of, stuck. No movement whatsoever, just kind of in a situation of feeling stuck. And this is not a situation you move forward and you have to pick a path, so it makes sense. But it's almost like you guys just feel like that's just like you're stopped in your tracks. Like, it's just like you feel halted. The Hangman can definitely feel that way. But there is no Hangman energy coming up in here, so I have no idea why I brought that up. or I keep saying it, but the Magician is crossed by the Moon. Okay, and that is already feeling, it's very Hangman equivalent anyway. So you have the tools and everything that you need to get through a situation. It's about tackling the fears now. The Hangman doesn't talk about tackling fears. It's being stuck in a limbo. So for some of you guys out there, you really need to hear the message for the Hangman, which is talking about, you know, like, even if this is a time of stagnancy for you guys, a great stagnancy, it's about observation and seeing things from a different angle. Right? Sometimes things happen or things don't happen for us to take a closer look at it. But this is not about that. Actually, it very well could be, to be honest with you, because the Moon talks about fears. It talks about things that are in the dark, things that we may not want to address or see or want to even experience. The Moon is a very dark place. But it doesn't mean that we're incapable of fighting through that. It doesn't mean that we're not equipped to go through those fears. And the thing is that the trio that we pulled, we didn't necessarily pull, that fell out earlier, which was the Hierophant, the Wheel of Fortune, the Three of Swords. That's probably what it is, right? We have everything we need for this new cycle that's coming up, but the situation is that we have to probably tackle some old triggers, some old pains that we thought was healed, but we really wasn't, because we're having to look at these situations like, oh my God, this is what we have to go through? And that's the thing, right? I think you guys are ready. Like, you've been ready. And I feel like you guys know that you have everything that you need. But it's like, if you want to, right? At the end of the day. And the thing too is that the Moon can talk about confusion. And I think that the feeling of not being prepared can cause a lot of resistance in regards to pushing through this. The Moon, though, you have to discover how much you've actually retained of the things. It's literally, you're walking through this on your own. No hands, no help, no nothing. Your journey is now to walk through that darkness and to conquer your fears with everything that you've known, everything that you remember. This is it's a very unpredictable time, and definitely uncertain when the Moon comes up, especially when the Wheel of Fortune is involved. Because it is, even though it's not in this reading, we did accident, you know, it fell out. It's not an accident, there's no coincidence, but it did come out. That means that there is an opportunity that you have had experience in before, and now this is a new opportunity, possibly with a situation that's similar, maybe different completely, but all in all, this is different, and it's uncertain because you're a different person. It's because you have some different perspectives. It's because you are not the same person that went into that cycle the first time. You have different ideas. You feel more prepared than you've ever felt prepared, but then at the same time you don't feel prepared with the Moon there. Now the situation is this: your past, is the Empress. So you've manifested this. You've manifested a new opportunity. You've created abundance. This is someone that's very independent in themselves, right? Very Venus ruled. It could be dealing with a Taurus here. But this is about creation. This is about the creation of one's desires. And she's made her utopia. And I feel like at one period of time, you guys have developed this ability to, you know, to be comfortable and stable through your own means and create what you wanted to create. This is a very creative energy. There's a lot of patience that went into this. And now your present is showing the three of cups. Some of you guys, you may have gotten pregnant and you added a third person in here. This could be talking about postpartum depression, but you know, that's just how I can kind of see the cards here. Some of you guys could be going through some postpartum depression here. Don't really know if you're, or not, maybe not postpartum depression, but you feel like, okay, I have this child, I have this situation, this family, I don't honestly know what I'm doing. And that's not bad to not know what you're doing. You have the tools around you to be able to figure out what you could and can't, what you could do and what you probably shouldn't do. Most importantly, it's not necessarily set in stone what you should and shouldn't do. It's about how it was feeling it out. Especially for those of you guys that are new parents out there, right? You're not going to get everything right. And that's just something you may have to just accept right now. That's okay though, because you're not perfect, and that's one of the things that your children will have to learn about themselves, that they're not perfect. But that's what makes you perfect, and that's what's going to make them perfect. It's that their imperfections are their imperfections, their flaws, their incapability to do certain things a way that you know other people can. That's what's going to make them perfect. How? Is because they're going to find their true selves and the things that make them feel the best that they can be through this life, hopefully. Right? Well, not a lot of people are privileged to have that, but if with right diligence and willpower they can, like you have. But if this is not talking about a family whatsoever, then this is talking about being surrounded with people that support you. But then at the same time, you have the moon here with the Three of Cups. You may not know if you trust the people that you're with. You may be relying on these individuals. You may have been taking care of people in the past. And now this is like, you're on your own, man. And you're like, where's my support? It's non-existent because the moon's there. Or maybe you truly can't really connect with these people because this is a personal issue that's something that you have to face on your own. As much as you would love help right this moment, you may not. It may be something that is like your journey alone. This may be there as a reunion. You're not certain of where that's going to lead. You may not necessarily trust the person that's come back in your life. Now, if this is not a trust issue, this could be that this Three Cups could be that there is some sort of support and network around you, but it still doesn't give you the clarity and the satisfaction, that stability that you're looking for. It's not enough. Because the moon is an intense feeling, and it gives you that confusingness about it. It's Pisces ruled, this card. The moon is Pisces. Well, the moon card here is ruled by Pisces, even though the moon is the ruler of Cancer. This is for Pisces. This card is Piscean. So you're going through some Piscean energy. Intense, trusting your intuition. You have all the knowledge here, and people around you, they can try to help you the best they can. But this is your journey. This is weaving through the uncertainty and knowing that you have everything you need to overcome any sort of weirdness or any snags that come across. It doesn't matter who you have in your back line. It doesn't matter if if there's someone that you have to take care of, or most importantly, you've been taking care of yourself, which I hope that's the case. But this is a situation where you kind of don't know where it all leads. You don't know where it all goes. But that's not to say that there isn't anything beautiful on the other end of this moon. Now the Queen of Swords is coming up here as a projected image of the future from where you are in the present. And that could mean that you're more serious. You're a little bit more, strict on truth and honesty. You're a little bit more serious about all those things. And you're not playing around with people when it comes to this. When the Queen of Swords comes up for any sign other than air signs, you're not playing around when the Queen of Swords comes up. You're very serious. And I feel like that's why I said I feel like the people around you are now under question of whether or not they're trustworthy or not because of the moon. If maybe you're untrustworthy of the third party situation, maybe you're not sure if there's a third party situation going on. But you'll know it in due time. You don't need to know this right now. The moon is saying it's unknown information. If there is truly something that's going on in the background, it will come to light. It will definitely come to light. But I don't think this is a third party situation. There's nothing here really indicating that. Three of Swords that came out before, Three of Cups came out. That can be a third party situation. But I don't think that's the case, because for some of you guys it may just be that you have a journey to go through, and it's new and it's exciting and it can be beautiful, but it's just like you don't know how it's going to turn out, because this is a new you that is involved in this. But how you see this is like you're ready to cut people off, like you're ready to just slice and dice. The Queen of Swords is not going to play around. You got to come with her with truth and honesty, and that's how you guys see yourselves. You're ready to cut some people in the future. But if you're not in the mood to play around with people. That's what kind of made me think that this could be like you may have this sneaking suspicion of there being a third party situation, but there's no evidence of it. There's like speculation that can happen, and so a lot of illusions that can happen within the moon. You have to be careful that what you're speculating is fact, especially when it comes to something as severe as that. And it doesn't And it can make sense why the Three of Swords would come up if this has been like a history or something that maybe with this individual that you're with before, that they've had someone under someone else, or they've had a third party situation, or they've been focusing on work or something like that, where their attention has been off the relationship. But you won't truly know until you perhaps ask questions. You have everything you need, because the Magician is communication. Don't let this moon energy keep you from utilizing all the tools that you got. You know what I'm saying? And the goal, aim, ambition is the Knight of Swords. Confront the problem. If you feel like something is happening under the dark and you don't necessarily know whether to, you know, this is something you should, you know, get clarity and information. The Knight of Swords is also talking about going in and fighting for what you believe in. And usually he will not be listening to any perspectives of any sort. He's ready to fight. He's ready to go in and ready to fight people. And the underlying energy is the Two of Wands. Is about taking the approach of making a decision about where you want to go. This is a very passionate decision making here, but also one that will require action immediately after making the decision. This is not about just like, okay, let's do this and then sit there and wait on it. You have to actually start working on what it is that you decided to do. And I feel like with this Knight of Swords, it's like saying, yeah, take action, go after what it is that you believe in, fight for it, communicate about it, but, you know, state your boundaries. But that's all you may have to do. And if you have uncertainty and clarity, you have all the tools necessary to handle that uncertainty. Communication, talking about it, you know. And if you just truly don't trust the person, then is it worth continuing something that you don't trust? Maybe it is this Two of Wands energy that you may have to find a different approach if you truly don't trust this individual. But if you do have a slight bit of trust, don't discount all of your tools. Don't discount all of your skills and your abilities, because you have so many. You are limitless as a human being. So take advantage of it the best that you can, especially when this moon comes up. All right, family. This is good. Actually, this is a really positive reading, and I know it sounds like it's not, especially how I can make it sound with the moon coming up sometimes. But the moon is always a thing to say, like, this is your test. Can you overcome? And you can overcome. The Magician says that there. The Empress is saying this here, that you guys have taken care of yourself, loving yourself, build yourself for some time. This moon energy, even though it's intense and crazy sometimes, it ain't nothing with the Magician. Because no matter what phase in his life, he will be able to get through this moon energy. And you can do the same thing too. Being, you know, getting your answers through the truth and only the truth. Solid right there. And I feel like you guys will be able to make the decision you feel like you need to make, or take that step in the direction that you feel is right for you, because you're going about it the way that you feel is honest and true to yourself. It's beautiful, water signs, and I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I have a sale that ends today, even though when it uploads, even though it's for the weekend, it ends on Saturday, which is today, which is the $5 Instantgo sale. So if you want to take advantage of that, go ahead and do so before it's, you know, it's done. So, and also I have another sale going on at the same time, so you guys can take advantage of that if you guys are interested in doing so there. And as much love, guys. I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye, you guys.